Yeah. Hair flip, yeah, I'm a badass bitch. I don't like it. Hair flip, yeah. Oh my god. So you guys should be happy. Oh my goodness. Hair flip. But anyways, hair flip. Hair flipping on the toes. Hi.
Hey, Mom, come here. You know what? I think we're missing something. My dear, come here. Hey, you guys, not only do we have one of my favorite TV moms, we have two of my favorite TV moms. Forget sister. Today, it's mother.
Hello everyone and welcome back to your boy SeanDavieWay. I hope you are enjoying these videos as much as I enjoy making them. I want to say something before we get into sister, that there are a lot of people that come underneath our comments and they state that, especially when we talk about gay topics and people allegedly being gay or allegedly having gay encounters, and they are annoyed by it. I don't understand why you are when I don't know these people, okay? I've never encountered any of them and I've never had anything sexual happen between me or them. These are stories that are all public, and these sites that post them are from people who have experienced these things. So if it's a problem, I would beg you to take it up with them. Nothing that I discuss is literally my opinion on what people have done besides what people have already stated that these people have done. Me talking about gay topics to me is refreshing because a lot of YouTubers don't really attack these type of topics, and I like to because it's interesting. It makes people think, it makes people wonder, and it also makes people go and do their own research. So I would tell you to do the same thing. Go and do your own research. I don't make things up. I've never encountered any of these people. I don't have stories about any of these people. And I'm also not outing anyone. It's all public information. So if that is a problem, go cuss out the blogs and the people that are giving their stories to these blogs, so where SeanDavieWay can speak of them publicly on a different platform. Y'all tried it. Once again, I love you all. Let's get right into Surviving the 90s Sister is an American television sitcom starring Tia and Tamera Mowry as identical twins separated at birth who reunited as teenagers. It premiered on April 1st, 1994 on ABC as part of its TGIF comedy lineup, and it finished its run on the WB on May 23rd, 1999, airing 119 episodes over 6 seasons. The predominantly black cast consisted of the Mowry sisters with Jackie Harry and Tim Reed, co-starring as their respective adoptive parents, alongside Marques Houston as their annoying neighbor, Roger. Ron Lee and Dion Richmond later joined the cast in the 5th season. This series was created by Kim Bass, Gary Gilbert, and Fred Schaeferman, and produced by DePasse Entertainment and Paramount Network Television. As a result of ABC removing Sister from its TGIF lineup for its 2nd season, ratings declined significantly, and the network ultimately canceled the series in April 1995. The series was then picked up by the WB as a replacement for Muscle on its Wednesday night lineup, where it aired for an additional 4 seasons until May 1999. In 2018, a potential revival of Sister Sister was confirmed, but was not pursued due to lack of interest. In the pilot, the twins are reunited during a chance encounter at a clothing store at the mall with their adoptive parents. Tia Landry is the intelligent twin from inner city Detroit, where her adoptive mother Lisa works as a seamstress. Tamara Campbell is the boy-crazy twin from the suburbs, where her adoptive father Ray owns a successful limousine company. After their unexpected reunion, Ray reluctantly allows Tia and Lisa to move in because Lisa was offered a job in St. Louis, which would separate the girls again. The girls' neighbor is a nerdy Roger Evans, Marques Houston, an annoying teenager who is infatuated with both of them, and who eventually evolves into a perfect gentleman they both find attractive in the later seasons of the series. In the final season, when the girls go off to college, Roger ceases to appear in the series because he was still in high school, though he does return as a guest in the final episode. By the 5th season, Tia and Tamara ended up with steady boyfriends. Tia's is Tariq Scott, played by Ron Lee, and Tamara's is Jordan Bennett, played by Dion Richmond. In the 6th season episode, Father's Day, the twins meet their biological father, Matt Sullivan, a white famous photojournalist who never married their mother, Rosselle Gavin, because they never got the chance. She was asked to paint a mural in Florida, and he was assigned the opportunity of a lifetime in the Middle East. When he left, Rosselle told him she'd join him, but never mentioned her pregnancy. And about 6 months after, she stopped writing. When she died, Matt wasn't allowed to see the girls because he couldn't prove he was their father. And when he searched for them later, he never found them because they had been adopted separately. Let's get into the cast. Tia Landry, played by Tia Mowry, is honest, responsible, mature, and a straight-A student who graduates from high school at the top of her class. She aspired to go to Harvard but was rejected and attended the University of Michigan. Her main boyfriend is Ray's mechanic, Tariq Scott, who later becomes a police escort at the University of Michigan. Their relationship started in the 5th season, though they broke up briefly in the 6th season, then reunited. Tia is often involved in Tamara's schemes, and Tamara sometimes has Tia pose as her, usually to take a tough exam. In Tamara's Black History Dream of Season 5, Tia appeared as Bessie Coleman. Tamara Campbell, played by Tia Mowry, is Tia's total opposite personality-wise. She is highly impulsive, less intellectual than her sister, and a big fan of Coolio. She meets Jordan Bennett, an editor of the school's newspaper, and they start dating midway through the 5th season, and their relationship grew stronger in the 6th season. Never afraid to speak her mind, she often voiced her penchant for Hush Puppy shoe brand. Lisa Landry, played by Jackée Harry. Tia's adoptive mother, a fashion designer, her personality is actually more aligned with Tamara's, sometimes being even more impulsive, lustful, and reckless than Tamara. She often cracks jokes throughout the episodes, typically at Ray's expense. She is prone to bouts of depression, during which she consumes high quantities of food. Ray Campbell, played by Tim Reed. Tamara's widowed adoptive father, he runs his own successful limousine service. He becomes Tia's father figure and is very strict with both girls. His biggest weakness is attractive women, who often seduce him. Roger Evans, played by Marques Houston, is Tia and Tamara's nerdy, annoying neighbor and friend. The girls frequently reject his advances, which often include sexual innuendos, and the repeated chorus of various members of the household was, "Go home, Roger." Sister Sister was one of those ever so popular and beloved family sitcoms from the 90s. The ABC show told the story of two identical twins who were separated at birth and adopted into different families, but later reunited as preteens. The show ran for 6 seasons from 1994 to 1999, first on ABC and later went on to the WB network. It's been a long time since the show was on the air, and both girls have since moved on to new careers. But there have been talks of a potential sister-sister reunion, so let's take a look back at some things you probably didn't know about the beloved show. Developing Sister-Sister. Tia and Tamera Mowry convinced their mother to up and move their family to California at the age of 12 so that they could pursue a career in acting. The twins' career started by appearing in a few commercials and taking on small roles on television. Their big break came when a producer saw the twins on the set of Full House, which in turn led to developing the series Sister Sister. The theme song for Sister Sister was so unbelievably catchy, and what many people don't realize is that it's actually sung by the two sisters, Tia and Tamera. A lot of people don't know that, said Tamera in an interview with Hollywood Life. In the beginning, we were lip singing and dancing to the theme song, but we were actually singing it. The first 4 seasons had a theme song with the crying babies where the girls were united under one roof. This wasn't the one performed by the twins, but in the 5th season, the theme song is remixed with Tia and Tamera's actual voices. The Legend of the Beauty Mark. The best way to differentiate between Tia and Tamera Mowry is to remember that Tamera has a beauty mark under her left eye. When Sister Sister first started, the producers wanted them to look alike as much as possible, so they would draw a beauty mark on Tia's cheek to match the one of her sister's. Diet pills. The pressures of Hollywood can be daunting as a young actress, and Tia Mowry definitely felt that burden. Now that she is a healthy adult who promotes clean eating and a healthy lifestyle, she's come forward to admit that she took diet pills while working on the set of Sister Sister. I didn't feel fat, but the pressure of being on television and wanting to look sexy and beautiful took over. I'm not proud of it. I got skinny, true, but the pills caused my heart to race, and I knew in my gut that I was hurting myself, said Tia Mowry. So Tia and Tamera were definitely foodies. They loved to eat, and on the set they had every food imaginable, especially junk food, because they were kids, they're teenagers. So, like M&M's, Starburst, all of the great junk food and candies and stuff that kids adore were always available. So with Tia feeling the need to take diet pills, it was more so of how everybody else looked. All the girls that were cast to be on the show and to guest star on the show, they all had a certain look. So to appease the camera and to appease Hollywood, she started taking diet pills so she could make sure she looked a certain way. Being thin was not enough. You needed to be skinny. Back in the 90s especially, being more so of curvaceous and stuff like that wasn't what the directors were looking for. They needed you thin. They needed you to basically go up and down because the camera does add weight. So Tia felt the pressure to make sure that she was taking diet pills and things in that nature because she was a foodie. She ate a lot of foods that she could eat and enjoy like any other teenager should be able to do, but not everybody was being pressured to have a certain image. So image is why she was taking the diet pills, to make sure that she didn't look fat or anything like that. Because like she said, I never felt fat. I never, felt like I needed to lose weight. It was more so of maintaining what I looked like. I need to stay looking exactly like this because if I don't, they'll get rid of me. So yeah, it's very unfortunate. A lot of women, especially in Hollywood, have to face that. Men too, but it's more pushed on women. There's a lot of men that are, not even in shape at all, and they could get a whole sitcom and get to run a show. But with women, there's way more pressure, to be thin. No sibling rivalry on set. In an interview with Life and Style, director Art said that Tia and Tamera Mowry weren't just average teenagers or sisters who would squabble over this and that. They were actually best friends who had amazing chemistry. They never fought on set and stayed true to themselves and their characters, who reflected their real-life personas. They finished each other's sentences, they knew what each other thought, and they could answer questions for one another. Tamera was a little bit more of a clown and Tia was a bit more serious, said the show creator Ken Bass. They each picked their roles by deciding which one they would have more fun playing. Favorite flashback moment. When the twins look back on their time working on the show, there's definitely a lot of really special moments. But the one that stands out the most to Tamera is from the first day on the set. My favorite flashback moment from Sister Sister, I would have to say, would be our first day working. We were at our table read and I remember looking at my sister just asking ourselves, I cannot believe we want to pinch ourselves. Are we really doing our own show? Are we really doing our own show together? I will never forget that moment. It was awesome, said Mowry. If you're a huge fan of Sister Sister, how I was growing up, then you realize when the show first started that the girls wore these luscious, beautiful, natural curls that they had. And a lot of black girls especially could relate because they have the same kind of textured hair. And it was a big thing with their curls. It was kind of their signature. It was a part of their look. And it kind of just went away. You kind of up and looked and a new season started and the curls were kind of gone. So I always wonder, like, well, why did they change their hair? Why did they get rid of those beautiful curls that they were known for? Let's get into that. In a recent interview with Elle, Tia Mowry opened up about the twins' decision to straighten their hair. In the later seasons of the show, having previously worn their natural curls on the screen, viewers may have assumed the girls just wanted to try out a new look. But that wasn't entirely the case. When we were younger, it was wonderful being able to wear our natural hair, Tia Mowry said. People were always like, "Oh, you're so cute. We love your curls." Then as they entered adulthood, they started to feel the pressure to straighten their hair to fit in with what was deemed beautiful in Hollywood. In this business, if I had my curls, I was told, "Can you pull that back?" On auditions, I was told, "It's distracting," she said. Luckily, they had their mom's unwavering support to help lift them up. I thank God that my mom told us, "Do not allow this business to define you. Do not allow this business to define your happiness. Do not allow this business to define your value," said Mowry. I believe that's what saved us from falling into a pit of childhood stardom. The pressures of Hollywood is what made the sisters start to straighten their hair. When they will go on auditions, the people will tell them, more so of the predominantly white casting agents, would tell them that, we don't like the curls. You should pull your hair back. You should, do this and that because it's very distracting. We can't even pay attention to the lines that you're giving due to your hair. I don't understand how hair, especially if it's tamed, how that is a distraction. What's distracting by these beautiful curls? If the character calls for them to have their hair straightened or a certain look, then if they get this role, then have them change their hair. But them just on auditions, let them know that their hair is not accepted. Your hair is not acceptable. You need to do something to it because we can't cast you more so of looking black, because a lot of the roles that these girls were trying out for wasn't the, more so wanna be ghetto or, classless or tasteless roles. They always auditioned for things that would show them in a good light, like the show Sister Sister. That show showed them in a great light. They weren't stereotypical. They weren't any of those things. They were great coming up all-American young girls. So that's what they would audition for. And to be told that your hair is distracting or it doesn't look good or you should do something different or pull it back, put it in a ponytail, I don't see what that has to do with anything. Now, modeling, I would understand because the face is very important with modeling, but acting is completely different. So it's just another way for them to put them on this, you need to look like what we want you to look like or you can't be here type of status. More so a straight European look is what's selling. The African-American type of curly, texturized, coarse hair is not what we want. So that's very unfortunate that they had to change their hair because they were being pressured to instead of changing it because they wanted to. Mowry's confession about feeling pressure to straighten her hair in Sister Sister comes less than a month after High School Musical's Monique Coleman explained the reason her character always wore a headband in the films was that the hairstylist on set didn't know how to do black hair. Both circumstances, while very different, tie back to the widespread issue of the lack of appreciation, acknowledgement, and understanding of black hair that extends beyond the entertainment industry. If you didn't know, Marques Houston left the Sister Sister show before the conclusion. Let's get into that. There were 119 episodes in the entire series of Sister Sister, and Roger appeared in 98 of them. Clearly, he played a substantial role in the show, and it has puzzled fans that he left before the show came to a conclusion. Marques Houston, the actor who portrayed Roger, continued to act after his departure from the series. Most notably, Houston had a recurring role as Kevin Barnes on the connected television series One-on-One and Cuts, according to IMDb. It is widely believed that Houston left his part on Sister Sister because of the death of his mother, but there's little to confirm this beyond the timing of the two events lining up. What we do know is that in addition to an acting career, Houston has been successful in the music world. As a member of the R&B group Immature, he has released multiple albums according to Pop Sugar. On the top of these entertainment endeavors, Houston signed on as CEO of FITTEST Films, a production company founded by Chris Stokes. So if you pay attention, it doesn't make any sense that he would leave the Sister Sister show because his mother passed away, but continue to act. So it's not like, he just left the entertainment world altogether, because of the passing of his mother. So he needed time to reinvent and grieve and, all of these things because, losing a parent is a very hard thing, and rest in peace to his mother. But again, it doesn't make sense to, okay, I'm leaving the show because my mom passed away, but I'm going to go do these two shows instead. You get what I'm saying? Doesn't make any sense. The real reason, allegedly, to why Marques Houston got the boot from the Sister Sister show and only got to feature on the last episode a very small cameo is because of these allegations of these R&B singers and children of Hollywood coming forward stating that allegedly certain things happened between them and Marques Houston. There was all type of allegations out there, even still to this day. Raz B. DeMario Thornton has come forward multiple times on different occasions stating what happened to him as a child due to Marques Houston. I believe that that's the reason that Marques got the boot from the show, because these rumors did not just start. A lot of people are just hearing about them, but they stemmed from the 90s. This has been said about Marques Houston since the 90s, and we're going to get into why I think the real reason Sister Sister producers got rid of Marques Houston is because of these allegations. It's the same reason they don't want him back. Let's get into that. Jackie Harry spills details on Sister Sister revival. Jackie Harry has shed some light on the logistics behind the potential Sister Sister reboot during an appearance on the Portia Williams-fronted Dish Nation. While what she reveals may disappoint some of the show's fans, Harry seemed to insinuate that efforts to solidify the show's return are still yet to bloom because of money. Quite interestingly, this was the face she made when asked if all of the show's original cast members would be returning. Interesting, because there is talk that Marques Houston, who portrayed the beloved character Roger, has been axed from any potential reboots because he is still facing harrowing claims that he molested a number of African American children in the early 90s. Marques Houston has always denied these allegations and has never been charged. So if the show is doing a reboot, or there's a possibility of a Sister Sister reboot, and Marques Houston has been 86 due to certain allegations that are out there on him, why would that not be the same reason that they have gotten rid of him? Think about it. These allegations started in the early 90s. He got the boot from the show in the 90s. His mother passed in the 90s, but still at the same time, he went on to pursue other acting right after getting the boot from Sister Sister. He played on the show One-on-One and other little cameos and stuff that he did in other places too. But on One-on-One, he had a recurring role just like he did on Sister Sister. So I believe that when these allegations came out, the Sister Sister director and producers wanted no involvement with these allegations, especially having a family-oriented show. So they got rid of him, and they're also not planning on inviting him back. So Roger's character is 86. The only way we will get a Roger is if it's played by somebody else. They want no dealings with Marques Houston. Tim Reed, who played Ray Campbell, was also extremely excited about the reboot, and he was definitely going to sign on. He did well after Sister Sister. He directed some films that depicted Black people in a great light. He's definitely for the Black community, so shout out to Tim Reed for that. But he also married someone that, a lot of people don't know about. I know I didn't know that Ray had married Daphne Maxwell, who became the replacement for the original Aunt Viv. A life-changing event occurred when Tim Reed reconnected with Daphne Maxwell, an actress and model who was working in LA. The two had met before in Chicago, but were both married at the time. They went on what was supposed to be a 5-minute date, but it lasted for 5 hours. The couple married in 1982, and the love and support of his second wife, the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air star Daphne Maxwell Reid, helped him overcome many difficult moments in his life, including a battle with prostate cancer at the age of 60. So they got married before we even knew who she was, before she even got the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air role or anything like that. She was already married to Tim Reid. So shout out to them. Love them as a couple. And yeah, moving right along. Tia Mowry comments on disappointment regarding reboots of The Game and Sister Sister. While waiting for production to begin on both reboots of her popular past sitcoms, Mowry worked on other projects. She landed a starring role in the Netflix original series Family Reunion, starring opposite Loretta Devine. The series is now in its second season and the third is underway. Though she experienced success with Family Reunion, Mowry was excited about the opportunities presented through Netflix show. She is bummed about the reboots being in limbo. So many people are asking this question. We tried, she said during an appearance on the Tamron Hall show. We tried to do it, but some rights and stuff kind of got in the way. Legalities is why. It makes me sad, and also we tried to reboot The Game, and now that's not happening. The audience was disappointed as much as Mowry was, but she insisted that she tried and was apologetic of its pause. She hopes the shows can resurface at a later date. Sister Sister premiered on April 1st, 1994, as a mid-season replacement in ABC's TGIF comedy lineup. After 2 seasons, the network announced that they were canceling the show because of low ratings, and the final episode ran on April 28th, 1995. This could have been the end of the Mowry sisters, but after fledgling networks decided to take a chance on the struggling show. The WB was a brand new network at the time, having debuted in January 1995. They picked up Sister Sister, and the 3rd season premiered on September 6, 1996. It ran for 4 more seasons, with the final episode airing on May 23, 1999. Sister Sister has also had a successful run in syndication, with reruns of the show replaying on Teen Nick, The N, ABC Family, Disney Channel, BET, and UPN over the years. So Sister Sister was actually canceled on ABC just after 2 seasons. But the show WB, or I should say the new brand broadcasting station, the WB, thought that the show was good and wanted to give it more energy. And thank God for that, because if not, we probably wouldn't even know who Tia and Tamara Mowry were, because that was their biggest, claim to fame. So I'm glad that the WB picked up the show, because it was a good show, and I don't think it was given a fair chance to be as successful as it could be. So I'm sure ABC was definitely kind of, slapping themselves like, oh, why did we let that go? Because it was successful. It kept going. They would not have kept pushing that much energy into a show if it wasn't successful. With most shows, they only get about 2 to 3 seasons and they end it. So if you go past 3 seasons, then you are a success. Sister Sister was canceled due to low ratings. It's that simple. When the sisters went to college, things became more boring, I would say. And I would say it's boring because most kids watch the show, a lot of teenagers and kids coming of age. So to a lot of people that were older, they still find this show intriguing. But to children, they can't really relate to college and, the stuff that people are going through. But high school years and stuff like that, of course, you're going to have a large audience of, kids of all ages, because everyone can relate to being in high school, junior high, even elementary. People can still relate because it's something that they're going to pursue. Like whether you're in elementary school, you're going to be in junior high. When you're in junior high, you're going to go to high school. When you're in high school, you're going to go to college. So a lot of people just lost interest because of the antics. And when the sisters were in high school, them switching, being each other's identities and things of that nature, taking tests for each other, working each other's jobs for each other and getting caught and things like that, it was far more interesting. But when they went to college and got into serious relationships and, just people just kind of tuned out because it just wasn't as entertaining as it was before. But every show has its end. No different than shows like The Fresh Prince and The Family Matters and stuff like that. When you leave high school and you go into college, you're going to lose lose your core audience because a lot of people cannot relate to college. A lot of people fear college. A lot of people don't have any interest of going to college. So you kind of lose your audience. Like with Saved by the Bell, the college years, that was the least successful out of all of the shows that they did because once again, it's college. So a lot of people can't relate to that. But the show Sister Sister was a phenomenon. It was a great show. It's legendary. It's always going to be a classic. Shout out to Tia and Tamir Mori, Jackie Harry, all of the people that gave this show what it needed. They understood the assignment and they completed it. So shout out to them. That's all I have on Sister Sister. I love you all. And until the next show, bye.
Hey, Mom, come here. You know what? I think we're missing something. Madeir, come here. Hey, you guys, not only do we have one of my favorite TV moms, we have two of my favorite TV moms. Forget Sister Sister today, it's Mother.